Today I'm going to talk about the book Man's Search for the Meaning by Viktor Frankl. A survey done by Book of the Month and the Library of Congress, Man's Search for the Meaning belongs to a list of top 10 most influential books in the United States. In this book, Viktor Frankl has recorded his experience as a prisoner in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. I don't think any combination of words can paint a picture gruesome enough to describe what existing inside Nazi concentration camp must have been like. Viktor Frankl was one of the few who survived in a place where the chances of dying are higher than those of living on any given day. He describes psychotherapeutic methods which involve in identifying the purpose in life to feel positive about and then immersively imagining the outcome. The book intends to answer the question, how was everyday life in concentration camp reflected in the mind of average prisoners. Man's Search for the Meaning is divided into two parts. Part 1 covers his observations in the Nazi concentration camp when he tried to observe and understand the potential of humans being ability to survive, highlighting how hope would keep people alive and lack of it resulted in death. The second part of the book explains his own theory of psychology named Logotherapy. So I'm going to go through the lessons of this book one by one. So first lesson is that I have learned, which is he who has why to live for can bear anyhow. Throughout the book, Frankl speaks deeply about his own why and its power to help him endure his situation. He also speaks of many prisoners who had completely lost their why and quickly lost their life as a result. Frankl and his fellow prisoners had to endure atrocities that many of us cannot even imagine. Prisoners had to survive on one small piece of bread a day and maybe some thin soup. They had to work 20 hours each day digging, laying railroads and so on. If you looked weak, you were beaten. If you stopped working, you were beaten. And you didn't get much of second chance after that. You could be killed for any reason. We have likely heard these people utter these words that I have nothing to expect from life anymore. In fact, we have probably uttered these words ourselves. Many of us, our own darkest moment look positively radiant when you compare that which powers like Frankl had to endure. And yet we still have God to say such things. Frankl asserts that it doesn't matter if we have nothing to expect from life. We can still find meaning. What was really needed, he writes, what was really needed was fundamental change in our attitude towards life. We had to learn ourselves, and furthermore, we had to teach the disappearing man that it really did not matter what we expected from life rather than what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking about the meaning of life, instead to think of ourselves as who were being questioned by life daily and hourly. Our answer must not consist in talk and meditation, but in right action and in right conduct. Life ultimately means taking responsibility to find the right answer to its problem and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual. So ask yourself whether you are staying true to what life expects from you. You may not be where you want to be in life right now, but so what? It's not about you. It's about life, what you can do for life, what you can do for others, most importantly. Next lesson that I've learned from this book is you can get used to anything. Human body is tougher than you think. Frankl talks of terrifying journey into the camps, how he and his fellow were stripped and saved completely, how all of their documents and personal possessions were confiscated and burned, including his life's work of papers related to logotherapy. The prisoners had everything taken away from them, even their names. They were given numbers which were tattooed on their skin. Families were separated. Frankl himself was separated from his wife and would not know what became of her until after the war. Then, once in the camp, curiosity took over as you learn the extraordinary amount of punishment that human body is capable of resisting. He writes, "The medical man the doctors among us learn first of all that textbooks tell lies. Somewhere it is said that man cannot exist without sleep for more than stated number of hours. He says it is quite wrong. I had convinced that there were certain things I just could not do. I could not sleep with this, or I could not live without that or the other. But the first night in Seach, we slept in a bed which were constructed in tiers. On each tier slept 9 men. 2 blankets were shared by each 9 men. Who would have thought human could actually endure hell as harsh as Auschwitz? And yet they did endure. The fact that many endured gives one overwhelming gratitude for not having to face the same situation. It also gives one overwhelming confidence in the capabilities of their own mind and body. We were unable to clean our teeth, he writes, and yet, in spite of the severe vitamin deficiency, we had healthier germs than ever before. We had to wear the same shirt for half a year until they had lost all the appearance of being shirt. For days we were unable to wash, even partially because of frozen water pipes. And yet the sores and abrasions on the hand, which were dirt from the work in the soil, did not separate. Next lesson that I've learned from this book is you can resist your environment's influence. Many psychological studies, such as famous Stanford prison experiments, detailed in Zimbardo's The Lucifer Effect, argues that the individual are the product of their environment. Anyone can be coerced into perpetuating evil given sufficient environmental influence. Yet this is an issue that Frankl has a problem with. In attempting this psychological presentation and psychopathological explanation of a typical characteristic of a concentration camp inmate, I may give the impression that human being is completely and unavoidably influenced by his surroundings. But what about human liberty? Is there no spiritual freedom in regard to behavior and reaction to any given surroundings? Most important, do prisoners' reaction to a singular world of a concentration camp prove that the man cannot escape the influence of his surroundings? Does man have no choice of action in such face of circumstances? Frankl argues that we are not born to our environments. Yes, the environment can be harsh determiner of our actions, but it is not fate. We do have a choice, right? Frankl also saw the lowest part of humanity while in the camps. He saw fellow prisoners promoted to be in-camp guard turning on their fellow prisoners. He watched as they beat their lifeless, malnourished campmates. He watched sadistic guards treating them as if they were lowest than animals. But he also saw individuals rising up like saints above it all. You may not have a choice in your circumstances and environment, but you always have a choice how you react to those imposed upon you. Fourth and last lesson that I've learned from this book is logotherapy is practical solution to your problems. Logotherapy is scientifically based school of a psychotherapy. It is based on the belief that the search for meaning, even midst misery, can constitute a potential solution to human suffering. Meaning can be found by creating a work, loving someone, or adopting modified attitude towards inevitable suffering. Logotherapy is used for a variety of purposes, including addiction, pain, guilt, anxiety, grief, and depression. Frankl says logotherapy bases its technique called paradoxical intention, the twofold fact that fear brings about that which one is afraid of, and that hyperintention makes impossible what one wishes. In this approach, the phobic patient is invited to intend, even if only for a moment, precisely that which he fears. Frankl discusses the case of a patient who always perspired heavily when public speaking. The solution, Frankl advised the patient to tell the audience directly that he is going to see how much he could sweat. He actually told them he intended to sweat and would see if he could sweat more than the last time. The result, his phobia of public speaking and the sweating disappeared. This is one of many such examples. I believe writers can also use this technique whenever they are suffering from the writer's block. Simply telling oneself that you will see how bad you can write will suddenly free you from the fear of writing. So it is important that your mind stays young and healthy like your body. As we do physical exercise to keep our body healthy and look young, our mind also needs exercise. Our mind also needs regular workout to stay young and healthy. And one of the great way to do that is to read books as much as possible. I'll be bringing you the reviews and the summaries of those books which will take you one step ahead. That was it about the book Man's Search for the Meaning by Viktor Frankl. After completing this book, you won't be the same person. It is one of the books which leaves mark in your life because the author has beautifully outlined the darkest event in human history. This book is a classic tribute to hope, and after reading this book, I feel so fortunate and overwhelmed that my problems are so small. That is all about today. If you like this video, please hit like button and subscribe to my channel because I'll be coming with such more videos, such more book reviews and the summaries. Till then, keep learning, stay safe. Bye bye.